Design has a superpower. It can make people feel something before they even read a single word. Today, we're designing an emotive advertisement for a Decathlon water bottle. The mission? Sustainability. The message? Our oceans are drowning in plastic, and it's time to change the tide. By 2050, there could be more plastic than fish in the ocean. As every minute, millions of tons of plastic pollutes it. And even worse is that every plastic bottle lasts longer than a human lifetime. This is because they break into microplastics that end up in the seafood and the water that we consume. The reality is that most ocean plastic comes from everyday habits, not factories, because we hardly think about where our plastic waste goes. And the stats support this. With less than 10% of plastic ever produced has been recycled, the invention of plastic that was designed to make our lives easier is silently killing our ocean. One reusable bottle can replace over 150 single-use bottles a year, which is what my poster is communicating. It doesn't only sell, it educates and influences our choices. We aren't just making a poster, we're making a statement. I began by arranging my images for the elements for the poster and started to find images of coral and sea life from stock image sites like Vectizi, Freepik, and Pexels using the Select Subject tool, which automatically removes the subject from the background to speed up the process. Now I'm enlarging this image to the canvas size, as I would be using the ocean as the background. I use the Select Subject tool to select the person and use the Generative Fill tool to mask them out. I then remove the background of the plastic bottles, so I can start to add them to the composition, using the Lasso tool for refined selections and Eraser tool for more complicated photos with a soft brush setting for soft natural edges. After that, I adjusted the bottle in the center of the composition, removed the background, and placed the Decathlon logo at the top right. I worked on the foreground first by removing the background of an image of dead coral and duplicated it to create layers for depth and erased the harsh selections of some corals so they blend in realistically to the foreground. I selected out the scuba diver and worked on adding smaller coral to the middle ground. The row of dead coral shows the everlasting impact of pollution killing coral reefs, inspired by the Great Barrier Reef, due to global warming increasing ocean temperatures, causing mass coral bleaching, with recent years seeing record declines. Rising sea temperatures makes corals expel algae, with the bleaching turning them white and often causing them to die. Coral is vital to the planet. They are nicknamed the sea's architect, as they build vast structures that are homes of an estimated 25% of all marine species. Once every element was selected out, I started to arrange the coral around the bottle, testing scale, composition, and color contrast. I arranged the sea life around them, trying to emulate the life in a coral reef. I made 3 copies of a group of fish to get a variety of types. I arranged the fish swimming in front and behind of the bottle to create an illusion of depth and space, using the Puppet Warp tool to make them curve to make their movements more natural. Once the main focus was complete, I lowered it to the center of the poster for balance. I created a gradient layer and set it to multiply to create a blue overlay, which makes it more realistic as it makes the elements blend with the blue ocean. I made a second gradient using dark blue and set it to linear burn to create the foreground shadow for depth, and it makes the tagline stand out because of contrast. I arranged a row of dead coral in the background using the eraser brush To create soft edges so they can be combined realistically, I made sure it was smaller than the foreground coral because of perspective. I added plastic waste amongst the dead coral only to show the impact of pollution, which contrasts the ocean life around the bottle, which shows that using reusable bottles instead of disposable ones keeps the ecosystem alive. Then I added the largest trash pieces in the foreground for perspective and added some floating in the background. I like how the main focus has the colorful coral, which helps contrast the blue background, creating emphasis. This poster is a reminder that the ocean is our playground, and it's up to us to keep it clean. But I want to know what you think. Drop a comment below with your thoughts. If you like my Photoshop workflow, you could implement some techniques that I use in your compositing process. And if you want to see more poster designs, feel free to tell me in the comments. Don't forget to watch my previous poster designs, and I'll see you in the next one.